All right, we're going to start with this first problem, like the absolute value one. The only thing that changed is that we changed from the absolute values to parentheses squared. The only difference as far as the equation. And just like before, anything on the outside is going to be a vertical change. Anything on the inside is going to be a horizontal change. So let's start with my A. My A is on the outside, so we know it's going to be something vertical. And remember, if it's A is equal to 1, because we're comparing it to the parent function, my parent function is 1, that's your A, then there's no change. And what I mean by no change, it means it's not stretching or compressing. If my A is greater than 1, again, just like our absolute value one, you want to picture, here's my parent function. If it's greater than 1, that means it's going like this. It's getting taller. So is that a stretch or a compression? It's a stretch. So anything greater than 1 will be a stretch. And again, it will be a vertical stretch. And if my A is less than 1, again, this is my parent function. If it's less than 1, that means it's getting shorter. And is that a compression or a stretch? A compression. Now, another word people like to use, or mathematicians like to use, is shrink. So it can be called a compression or a shrink. Okay, let's look at the other vertical change. Oh, hold on. Go back to this one. Notice how this A that's stretching it or compressing it is being multiplied. So anything multiplied is your stretch or your compression. Now across the x-axis. I'm going to sketch a picture. So first it's positive. And then here's my x-axis. And then it's going to flip. So it becomes negative. Any questions so far? All right, now let's look at the other vertical change, which is my K. And that K is a vertical shift. And it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. So if it's a plus K, that means it's shifting up. And if it's a minus K, that means it's shifting down. And then we obviously get to the H. And H is inside with X. And what do we know about X? What does it always do? The X always what? It always lies. Mentiroso. It's a horizontal change. X always lies. So when we have a positive H, which means we're going right, in my equation, it's going to look like a negative H. And then a negative H, which means we would be going to the left, in my equation, looks like a positive H. So this is a shift right, and this is a shift left. To our new function. So this one has a negative, that's one change. It has a 3, that's another change. It has a plus 1, that's another change. And it has a positive 4. So how many changes should we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly. So let's go ahead and put our bullets so we can name all those transformations. Let's start with the green one, or the plus 4. What does that plus 4 tell us? Is that a vertical or horizontal change? It's vertical. What is, if we're adding 4, what does that mean? Right, it's going to shift up 4, right? Because it's adding 4. The one that's a stretch or a compression gets multiplied. Yes? All right, let's look at the next change. Let's do the pink one. What does the pink one tell us? Is that vertical or horizontal? Where is that pink one? Inside or outside the parentheses? In the pink one? It's inside, right? And inside is what? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. And if you get confused, what is the pink one close to? It's close to the x-axis. X-axis is horizontal. All right, and what do we know about x? It lies. So that means we think it's going to, well, let's put h is actually equal to -1, right? Because x is lying. And -1, are we going to go left or right? Left, right? Left, right. Left, correct? So this is a left shift 1. Okay, let's go ahead and do the blue one. Now the blue one, horizontal or vertical? It's vertical. Now that 3 compared to the 1 here, is it bigger than 1 or smaller than 1? We're just looking at the 3, not the negative. Just the 3. It's bigger than 1. So if my parent function is 1 and 3 is bigger than 1, are we stretching or compressing? It's stretching. So we have a vertical shift. Oh, I'm sorry, vertical stretch. Sorry. Vertical stretch by 3. And then finally that negative. The only job this negative has. What does the negative do? It just flips it. So instead of it being positive, now it's negative. So it's reflecting over the, we'll call it a flip, which means it's a reflection over the x-axis. Any questions so far? All right, we're going to do one more. The parent function. And this is my parent function. So how different is my new equation from the old parent function? All right, so let's put our bullets. We have a blue one, I'm sorry, a purple one, a yellow one, and a pink one. So we've got 3 transformations. Let's start with the purple one. Ooh, those look very much alike. Yeah. Let's do green, no. Yellow, no. Blue. There we go. All right, let's look at the pink one, or the purple one. Vertical or horizontal? Outside parentheses or inside? It's vertical because it's where? Outside. So we have a shift up or down? Good. So we're going to have a vertical shift down. And you don't have to put vertical. 1. Okay, my next one is the yellow number, or the yellow change. So remember, what number do we compare it to? 1. So is 1/2 less than 1 or greater than 1? Less. Good. So then is it going to be a stretch or a compression? So here's 1, and half is smaller than 1. So is that a compression or a stretch? A compression. Forgot to put vertical. Vertical compression by 1/2. And then finally the blue one. Where is that blue one? Inside or outside? Inside, yes. And X lies. So my H is actually what? Positive or negative? It's positive, which means we're going right or left? Right. How many? 5. So a right shift 5. Yes. Mentirosos. All right. Any questions on these two? Okay, now we're going to graph. And remember, we go from our vertex parent function, vertex of our new function. And we're just going to describe what it did horizontally, vertically, and how much did it stretch or compress. All right, so if I am here, how do I get to here? Am I going to shift up or am I going to shift down? From here to here? We're going to shift down. How many spaces? Remember, this is 0, 0. And when we talk about a vertical shift, we're looking at the y's, right? Because y is vertical. So we're going from 0 to -2. So how many did we go down? Huh? 2. So it went down 2. And we don't have to say -2 because it went from 0 to -2, but that means it went down 2. All right, how about this next one? We're going from 0 to 3. So from here, we need to go how many spaces to get to 3? 3. So we're going to go 3 to the right. And then finally, we want to see if it stretched or if it compressed. Now remember, Monday, what day is today? Wednesday. Monday, we did the rise over run squared. We're going to do that here too. So from this point to this point, how much did we rise? Going here to here. So remember, rise is from -2, it's your y's, to 0. So what's my rise? 2. And then for my run, we look at our x's. We're going from this point to this point. How much did we run? If we went from 3 to 4, 1. So for A, it is your vertical change, which is 2, over your horizontal change, which is 1. And we have to square it, because remember it's squared. So 2 divided by 1 squared is 2 divided by 1, which is 2. So my new A value is 2. So did that stretch or compress? If it If it went from 1 to 2, it stretched, right? Because it got bigger, so then we're stretching it. All right, so now let's write down our equation. I like to write this down when I'm writing my equations. It's like because we know we're always going to have an x and a squared. So now what is my new a value? 2. What's my new h? Here it's supposed to be 3, but in our equation it's going to lie. So what is it going to be? -3. And then this is my k, and k is equal to a +2. So this is my new equation for my transformed graph. Make sure we're covering our noses, please. Let me highlight it best I can over here. Down 2. And then I guess a pink one. There we go. Good job. Yes, the monkey flip. Flipping over the trees or the branches. All right, let's go to the next one. We have to follow the vertex. So we're going to go from the vertex from the parent function to the vertex of my new function. And what happened? Right, we just shifted right 3. And because it's horizontal, h is horizontal, h, we're going to have h is equal to 3. Did we have a vertical shift? No. All right, so now we need to see if our a changed. So we're going from this point to this point, so we need to find our vertical change and then our horizontal change. Now for our vertical change, which is up and down, are we going to look at our x or our y? Our y. So we went from 0 to 2. How much was my vertical change? 2. We're going to look for our a. My vertical change is 2. And then what is my horizontal change? We're going from 3 to 5. It's also 2. And what are we going to do to my horizontal change? Square it. So we've got 2 divided by 2 squared, and 2 squared is 4. So we've got 2 over 4, and we always simplify. What's 2 divided by 4? 1/2. So what happened to my graph? Did it compress or did it shrink? I'm sorry. Did it shrink or did it stretch? It shrank, right? The number got smaller than 1. All right, so let's go ahead and write our equation. And again, when we write our equations, we start with f of x equals n squared. We're just going to plug our numbers in. Now this one, your h is inside. It's a +3, so in my equation, what is it going to be? -3. And then our a value, where am I going to put it? In front or in the back? In the front. We're going to multiply it by 1/2. And there's your equation. Do you want one more example? Or do you guys want to start practicing? Anybody? Just say it. Closing my eyes. Another example. Perfect. Thank you. This is example 3, 4. A little bigger. So we're going from our parent function to our new function, vertex. Going from 0 to 4. So we're going up, shift, 4. Or vertical shift up 4. All right, how about horizontally? Horizontal shift left 2. It's actually going to the left, right? Because we're starting here. We're starting from our parent function. And remember, we just have to say that it's 2. Oh, and I see what you're saying. So that -2, that will be my h. So h is -2. And then over here, because it's going up 4, that's going to be my k. So k is going to equal to +4 because it's going up. And now let's determine what our a is. Now remember, this point was at -1, 7. So for my a, we've got our change of y over our change of x squared. What is my change of y? We're going from 4 to 7, 3. And then we're going to go from -2 to -1. What's that change? 1. And then we're going to square it. So 3 over 1, which is 3. So my a value is going to be equal to 3. So it's going to go ahead and write the equation. Go ahead and write